Welcome back to the LaRocque Life podcast, where we talk about relationships, adventure, freedom, and just some all around deep and meaningful conversations.
Real conversations.
Real.
Raw. Real raw. Welcome to episode 4 already. Mike said we have to do 9 episodes to be legit.
Yeah, it's like 9 or 11. Once you get past that threshold, then it's like a whole, then you're in it for the long haul. You're not just a dip your toe in kind of people. So,
Not just a pandemic hobby type.
yeah, there you go, right? Isolation hobby.
Yeah.
We should do a talk show.
But I do think that we're already in a really good groove. This feels really fun already.
Feels fun and it just feels right.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I love it. Yeah. I tried a lot of things. I tried blogging. I'm not much of a writer. Well, I can write on a cell phone real quick, and that's how I did them. But I just wasn't feeling it. It almost felt like a chore. And then did all the videos last year. Did a video every week for a year, which really got me into the groove and comfortable with like lighting and cameras and sound. And I think it all just then I kind of fell out of that groove, but I think it was all for a reason, and it was all pushing us towards this to actually have decent video, decent audio, and
It's
yeah,
all
and
coming
just
together, right?
yeah, and being comfortable. I think that's huge.
Which is actually really cool that you say that, because I was going to talk about how everything always kind of comes full circle, or comes back. If we could look back in hindsight, you see how so much stuff makes sense, and oftentimes it feels like we're struggling or we're stuck in the shit. But when you can actually look back, you're like, oh, I see exactly why I had to go through those things, or I learned that lesson, and it all adds up and like really prepares you for this moment, right? Whatever this moment is in your life.
That's a good point. Yeah, he does that in everywhere, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it happens
in
all the
career,
time.
relationship, all
Mm-hmm.
that stuff, right?
Yeah, it just sucks when you're in it because it's always hard to tell. But you
Yeah,
hit this point eventually, I feel like, when you're like, wow, okay, I totally understand why all of this was happening for me, right?
right.
But it's funny. So tonight we're going to talk about being more powerful than your fear. And it wasn't the choice of topic for tonight originally. We just pivoted like a couple hours ago,
Yeah,
because I was really getting hit with this message about fear. We were going to talk about some product stuff and online marketing and business stuff tonight. We were prepared for that. But earlier this afternoon, I actually ended up watching a video with London Real with Brian Rose, and he was interviewing David Icke, and they were talking about conspiracies and the stuff that's going on in the world today. But it was the last 20 minutes. I shared this on my personal Facebook page today. The last 20 minutes where David Icke really jumped into fear and conflict and beliefs. And it would just really hit hard for me today because he really went into the stuff I talk about with my clients, like
right.
unconditional love, heart opening. And it was really cool to see it from this man who's like into conspiracy stuff.
Yeah, talks about aliens and all kinds of
Mm-hmm.
stuff, right? So to hear
Yeah,
him
and
this,
like doom and gloom of the world, but he ended it with this like very heart opening thing. And what was really cool for me is I was sitting at my desk working on a project that I'm working on with my clients, and I've always been about love or fear. And then all of a sudden he started talking about that, so I perked up. And I mean, I have a tattoo of love on my hand, you have a tattoo of love on your hand.
yeah,
Our analogy over the past 2 years has been like choosing love over fear. And so when he started talking about that, like I just paused because I've been in a very fearful mode the last few weeks with what's going on. Just,
which is 100% fair for sure.
yeah, just a lot of my own stuff coming up. But so when he started talking about fear and then bringing it into heart opening stuff and how fear paralyzes people, I got really weepy. You came to my office door and asked me something, and I was just like, I had to say just a sec or something, right?
Yeah,
So
I
I was
can't
like,
remember. I can't remember what you said. Yeah, yeah.
you're
I
like,
was like, okay, I'll leave you
I'll
alone.
just give
But
you a moment.
yeah, it was, yeah, yeah,
But I was like having this like inner revelation or something where everything was coming together for me. So it's funny that you say, with the videos and all of the blogging has come
yeah.
together with you for this. But then it's like everything with the love and fear came together for me in that moment, and he was my messenger, and I felt like we needed to be the messengers of fear today because there's so much fear going on in the world, obviously.
Right.
Everyone's got their own fears with what's going on. That relays into relationships, and then there's also just tons of fears in relationships anyways, because we're all bringing like our wounds and our beliefs and everything to that. And then another big thing, because this is what I realized, and I really want to touch on this before I let you talk because it's coming out, so I gotta let it come.
Get it out, man. I don't care.
Is that fear is the number one thing that holds us back from really truly doing what we want in life or what we came here for, like our purpose, right? Our humanness gets caught up in the fear and this experience of what and who we think we are, when really like we're so much bigger than this. So I want to just cap that part of it off by saying that today was another one of those cycles, because so London Real was started by this guy named Brian Rose, and when we moved to London in 2014,
yeah.
Mike randomly watched a video. It was an interview with
who was it?
Alex
Icon, yeah.
Yeah, and Brian was, so we'd never heard of London Rose before, but he was interviewing Alex Icon, and this was like in his quite a bit more beginning days.
Yep.
But then Mike ended up like reaching out to him. You started attending their stuff.
Yeah, they were having like meetups, and then I mean he got into even some coaching for sure, and yeah, it was a great relationship, and there's a lot of cool people there. His right hand man Julian as well. He was really really great. Like we'd go on runs. Was it Saturdays or Sundays? We'd run in the park.
Yeah, I don't remember.
I can't remember exactly, but yeah, it was just a community reached out to him, and he was like Laura said, it was kind of early days, so I got to genuinely be mentored by him, and it was great.
Yeah, he was a really big mentor towards you, because that, again, in 2014 when we moved to London, you had just sort of been like a year into your journey, kind of.
Exactly. I didn't really know. It was just all these watching YouTube videos, but again, even YouTube then wasn't what it is now, and I felt like, oh wow, I see you on TV, or I see you on my computer. Now I get to talk to you, and it was kind of surreal that way too.
Yeah. And so the loop of this is that you ended up buying a business course that you participated in, the Business Accelerator program of Brian's. I think you were the very first person in that. Yeah. And so from that actually was born LaRocque Life. And so we started that when we were in London. We came home with it, but I got hit with so much fear, and we had a troll on our Instagram, or no, our YouTube channel.
One person.
Yeah, one troll, but he was like, she, I don't know, was out to get us and would just comment. They were the only person who commented on our videos, but they commented just like rude things or just like very not encouraging things. And I think I might have talked about this on a previous podcast, but I was so consumed in the fear of this person judging me, criticizing me, not believing in like my purpose and what I was doing, that on a subconscious level, I just quit doing the tasks that we needed to do. I quit showing up, and LaRocque Life went to sleep for like 3 years.
If you can tell by our website, blog posts, and it went dormant for like 3 years, give or take.
2.5, 3 years. And I mean, we were busy with having Lennox, but it's just really cool how it's come full circle that like we started LaRocque Life because of London Real and what we took with Brian.
Yeah.
And then we started our podcast back up again like a month ago now, obviously, but just being there today, listening to Brian talk to David Icke about fear, it just all came up for me, and I was like, wow, that's so cool that now here we are having this podcast conversation tonight about fear because of London Real. London Rock.
There you go.
A new name. Right? And so I just felt like we needed to talk about fear tonight. And then you were just watching like an old Twitter picture. Holy cow.
Video. One of them moving pictures. See, watch it. Has sound on it. Anyway, we're watching that. Yeah, or just going through old Twitter, because then we fired up. I got this podcast. It's on Stitcher right now, but it's not on iTunes yet. It should be by next week. And on there, it has a Twitter feed. So we clicked on it, and it's LaRocque Life Twitter feed. And there's like, I don't know, a couple hundred followers, but I made a few videos and some posts back in the old gym box days back in London.
But the one video you clicked on tonight was about fear.
Yeah, exactly. So
So,
yeah, just yeah, it's a
so
lot too many synchronicities right
yeah,
now, right?
tons of synchronicities. And I always tell the women that I work with, all my clients, we always work on heart opening stuff, which we're going to talk about tonight. And just love, like sinking into love over fear and looking for signs and asking for signs. Well, we didn't ask for signs today, but they have been like blasting at us about talking about fear.
Yeah.
So that is what we're going to talk about tonight. Really kind of talking about like how fear has so much power over us. We give it so much power, and what happens when fear loses that power?
I have I had no idea. The only thing it reminds me of is fear taking all your power away is when I was selling cars in Vancouver. And like you'd wake up in the day and like you wake up in the morning and you're fearful about whatever. You go through your whole Rolodex through your head, but fearful about how I'm going to pay the bills, or fearful for money, or fearful for whatever it is. And then go to work, and I was subconsciously like fearful of having those conversations with the customer that walks through the door, because I mean that's car sales, like no one likes it, right? It's the most raw form of sales you can kind of get. And so you'd have that fear of even talking to them, and then they could sense that fear, sense that you're off, so they're not going to make a deal with you at all. So then you after a while you don't even have those talks, and you're not taking the walk up because you're fearing you have no money, but you're scared. You're scared because you have no money, or fearful, but then you're not even doing the thing that can get you out of it. So it's silly. Like
It is a downward spiral,
it
right?
really is, yeah.
And really, fear breeds fear.
Absolutely, and it just keeps getting worse and worse. It's just like depression, or like overeating, things like that. It just
Hmm.
keeps you just keep going down that route.
Yeah. And I feel like, with fear, we always think like consequences and worst case scenarios and really think about things in our head. But if you didn't have fear and you remove fear by opening your heart and really sinking into your heart, but also facing that fear, you would do what feels right. You would do like who you're meant to be, become who you're meant to be, right? And do your purpose, your life purpose.
Yeah, and you're not worried about those consequences, like
Hmm.
whatever they be, whether it's like lawful or whatever. But I mean, even just people laughing at you, people judging you, our troll from from YouTube, like, which is so silly that you're giving away this power,
Yeah.
and it's yours, and you're giving it away, and it's
Yeah. And for example, with this podcast and what we're bringing back with LaRocque Life, like I know that now because I've grown so much in 3 years, but like clearly this purpose is meant to be mine because now we're back here again, right? Like it could have just died off and not done anything with it, but it's speaking loudly to me. But now I'm in a container that I'm not like giving all of the power to the fear, right? I know I've worked through a lot of fear and I've learned how to open my heart and how to embrace that. So thankfully, we're back here again. But even at this, like, there's times where my head's like, your guys' podcast is stupid, or like, who's going to want to listen to it? Or like, all the thoughts come
yeah.
up, but I just don't entertain them.
No,
Right.
you're not sitting there lingering those. Take it, feel it, and
No, because I could let fear win and we could
yeah.
not do the podcast, or we could do the podcast and it might take us a year to gain a following, or we might have like one person who watches it, but maybe it changes that one person's life, or maybe they get one little like nugget from it that they take out into their life, right? So
Yep.
when we feed fear or let fear win, we really just aren't helping anybody,
Nope.
right? Not
Exactly.
society, humanity, our families, any of us.
No, you're not helping yourself. You're just a burden. You
Mm-hmm.
become a burden. You really do.
Yeah. Yeah. And so I just made some notes because I wanted to make sure we stayed on track with fear and what we wanted to talk about tonight. But really, basically, when you let go of that fear, what can stop you? Like, there's nothing that can stop you or control you or impose its will upon you. And this was a big topic of David Icke tonight that I'm taking from. So, I mean, if you weren't scared, ask yourself, if you weren't scared, how would you show up? You would likely be a lot more authentic. You would be yourself in front of your partner. You would speak your truth to your partner. But
Right.
then, even in business, or if you wanted to start a business, you would just go ahead and do it because you wouldn't be so fearful of what other people are thinking of you, or failing, right?
Yeah, that's the big thing is failing, and it's just that fear of rejection, which could happen in relationships, happens in business and
Mm-hmm.
sales. You feel it, right? So
Mm-hmm.
it really does. And there's what the hell did I always say? It's in a movie. It's like desperation is a stinky
Oh
cologne.
yeah.
I used to say that a lot selling cars because I was oozing it, and and people could sense it. Like I ended up with way more friends than I did car sales, for God's sakes. It's just they could just sense that. I don't know what it was. It was just fear, and I have no idea why. I haven't really told anybody that. I guess it's kind of coming out now. I thought I was just a lousy salesman, but I was really vulnerable position money wise and things like that coming back from traveling, and then I just had this family to look after now, and felt all this pressure, but then I succumbed to the fear and
Mm-hmm.
ate fucking pepperoni every night
Seems to be a theme that comes up in
by
this.
the bag, not
Yeah.
just a piece.
Yeah, no, that's true. And it's funny too, because if you knew what you know now, I'm sure you could have overcame it a lot faster. But again, at the same time, it was a part of your journey and it was a part of what you were meant to go through, right?
Yeah, like you said, it just sucks when you're going through it.
Mm-hmm. But so from that, I want to talk about beliefs because when we, well, really what comes from fear, I think, is like also a desire to be right because we don't want to be wrong. We fear being wrong. So that shows up in relationships as well and causes conflict.
Yep.
It can show up in business interactions. And it shows up every day in society, right? Like,
All day.
especially right now, so many people have their opinions on what's going on and they stand strong in them. But that's okay. And this is what David Icke was saying today. Like, everyone is entitled to a belief and an opinion, and that's totally normal. That's totally natural. But where it goes, where it gets bad and causes conflict is when you believe that you need to inflict your opinion and your belief onto other people.
Yep. Yeah.
Right?
And then he said, when you're right or you think you're right, obviously that other person's wrong. Like there's
Yeah.
no
Yeah,
there's
there's
no
only room for
gray.
one person to be
Yeah,
right.
it's black or white, right? There's no
Mm-hmm.
gray in that. So if I'm right, you're wrong, and I'm gonna try to make you think the right way, however that looks, and always
Yeah.
turns into conflict. Because then on the flip side of that,
I'm right and you're wrong.
yeah, exactly, right. So who's gonna cross that line? So
Right?
yeah,
So it's funny because we talk a lot about relationships. I mean, in relationship, clearly we could resolve our conflict a lot quicker if both of us were of the mindset that neither of us are right. We have our own opinions, and that's okay that we don't agree,
yeah,
and that we can actually sink into our heart space and open that up and have respect for your opinion and your belief, and vice versa, right?
absolutely. And that's the big one. Big one's respect, but it's really hard to give respect if you don't respect yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's a really, for me anyway, I think of that as a masculine thing too. Because like as being a man, I always want respect.
Mm-hmm.
Give me respect. I want respect. But I mean, do you respect yourself
Mm-hmm.
even?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Well, and that goes the same for women and the feminine. Like, women want to be loved and feel safe. But if we don't love ourselves, then we're expecting you to fill that void, right?
Right.
So, yeah, kind of covered some extra bases on there with the feminine and masculine.
Yeah.
But yeah, David Icke said that no one is all right and no one is all wrong, right? There's some gray area there. You're entitled to your opinion.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, you said respect. So respect for self and others is huge. And that really does come from a place of unconditional love and acceptance, not only of yourself, but of your partner, of your business partners, of ideas, of other people that you work with, humanity, right?
Yeah.
We all have different beliefs. But really, I believe too that like our desire to be right, whether that is in relationships or whatever, comes from our need to be, felt seen, felt heard, to just really validate our feelings. And it often does come from like childhood, or it can come from ego.
That's a big one.
Right?
Absolutely.
So what I've learned in our relationship and in any of the coaching that I have done is, in order to be seen and heard and validated, that needs to come from ourselves first, right? That's inner child work. So if we see and feel and validate ourselves as children for something that maybe we weren't getting in our childhood, suddenly when you shine light on that and you love those aspects of yourself, I don't need you to see me
Right.
and hear me. It's nice, but I can do that myself, right? And I feel valid in who I am because I have that inside.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think that works the same in society and as humanity, right? Like, I don't need to go out and be like, I'm right, my beliefs are right.
Yeah.
Because in my heart, it's what I believe. It's not wrong for me, but I don't need to prove anything to you because I'm at peace with who I am.
No, that's 100%. I think you nailed it. And that's where we started to do work on our own relationship.
Mm-hmm.
That's where it all kicked off, right?
Mm-hmm.
You just hit that point where you start loving yourself and preparing yourself to be on your own, and then
Mm-hmm.
that's where everything gets better.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that makes tons of sense. And then obviously both of us, respecting ourselves more and then bringing that respect to the relationship, and it just went tenfold, especially
Mm-hmm.
myself, right? Like for respecting myself with alcohol and then obviously respecting you enough to not put you through that shit anymore,
Mm-hmm.
right? So no, it really does all circle back to that.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And I would say too, on like beliefs, this just came up for me. You know me as being like an empathic person, and I know you're always like, quit labeling yourself as an empathic person, but I am. I don't think empathy or being an empathic person ever goes away, but I definitely learn how to work with it,
Right.
so that I take care of myself first and protect myself versus other people first. But I always used to just hold myself back from pursuing anything or even just like having my own ideas because I didn't know if mine were right. So, like, even religions, like certain religions or different people's ideas or beliefs about things that are going on in the world, I would be very like,
Neutral? Is the word? No.
no, like the animal that changes colors. Chameleon?
Oh, there you go. Okay, yeah, I see
Like
what you're saying.
I
Yeah.
could be really good at that, just like shifting into whatever belief with the person that I'm with, kind of thing.
Right.
Because I didn't stand really strong in what
That makes sense.
I believed in, but that was more so because I didn't know. But I also felt then that, well, if that person believes that, then my belief must be wrong.
Yeah, that's fair.
Right. But then I'd be in a room with another person and they believe something else. And I'm like, well, it's not right for me to believe what I believe because that person believes something different. And so mine's wrong. But that goes back into all of the fear and the belief stuff, right? That
Yeah.
it's okay for them to be that religion and for me to be what I am with the religion or the beliefs that I hold. But we can still be friends.
Yes,
right?
exactly. And still have a conversation and
Yeah.
still be respectful to each other and
Yeah.
civil.
And we could still be best friends even. Like,
Yeah.
you don't have to have the same beliefs as the people close to you.
Yeah.
There's lots of other things going on in life, right?
Exactly. Oh, that's a good point.
Right. So on that note, I guess really just kind of talking about how do you take your power back, right? How do you take power away from fear
Mm-hmm.
and bring it back to you?
Yep.
And for me, that was another thing that I really had to learn was just like trusting myself, right? And knowing that just because, like, taking people off of pedestals was a really big thing too, right? Like, not just putting
Big.
all my trust in the
Yeah.
government or healthcare professionals or teachers or people older than me or even someone younger than me, but had that education that I didn't have.
That's a big one too, yeah.
Right? Again, I feel like we just give. Is that making any sense?
No, yeah, you're giving power away. And then I noticed this a lot at work when I was like for construction or in construction
Mm-hmm.
now, where people would be like, you'd be the best carpenter. I've worked with some of like the best carpenters
Mm-hmm.
in construction. I mean, they're just really that good. But you take away that, or they don't make good leaders, or they can't make those decisions. Like, they're very indecisive.
Mm-hmm.
And then that takes away from all their, like, you're not, what am I trying to say?
Your confidence?
Yeah, like your confidence and your belief, like it's all fear again. Like, goes back to fear. Like, they're fearing of making the wrong choice.
Mm-hmm.
So then Oh, I'm fearful of making the wrong choice. What's the consequence? Oh, like Mike's gonna be mad at me. Oh, I'm gonna get fired, or guys are gonna make fun of me, or whatever, right? It's gonna
Yeah.
cost so much money, all these things.
Yeah.
But it's literally you're scared to make a decision, and
Yeah.
it just cripples you, and again, it just paralyzes you. It sucks.
Hmm.
And you can, like I said, there's some of the best people around, and it still paralyzes you. I got that even when we were selling cars again. Like, to go back to that, is everything that I brought to the table should have been I should have been a fucking great car salesman.
Hmm. You probably would be now.
I think so. Yeah, I
Yeah.
guess I'm a little more connected,
That
but
was like 3 years ago, right?
yeah, but I mean, like I just couldn't figure it out. And even people I
Mhm.
talk to, I try to buy there's different programs that you can buy. They kind of made them hard to do now, but like you could just automatically upload to like Kijiji and
Yeah.
Facebook and stuff like that. And even talking with those people, I know they're salespeople and they're blowing smoke up your ass too, but they're like, holy cow, like nobody's asking these questions you are, man. Like you're gonna be, like you
Yeah.
must be smashing it. I'm like, well, not really. So I need some help here. So just like all that, it was all from fucking fear, and
Yeah.
life could have been so much better during those times. But again, it's lessons I had to learn
Yeah.
during that. It just sucks when you're in it a lot.
It just sucks a lot when you're in it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I guess like a really good question to ask ourselves too is like what would I be right now, or what would I be doing if I wouldn't let fear hold me back?
I know, it's like possibilities are endless.
Right?
And it's easy to say that and sounds so cliche or cheesy, but it really is.
I know, and I mean, I think too why that interview this afternoon really like pulled on my heartstrings was because like David, I just was like went into the heart stuff and was like, you are an infinite being with infinite consciousness, and this is just a pit stop, right?
Yeah,
Like,
he called it, this is like a human, you're just a blip right now. You're in a human form right now.
yeah, but if we go on to, I mean, who knows? Again, whatever your belief is, whatever our belief is,
Yeah,
I
like
mean,
yeah,
if
you could be a computer and shut you down, and
yeah,
that's it.
but if you go on into your next, you leave Earth, right? I just, the where I'm at right now is like, why didn't I just go for it? Like, why wouldn't I just go for it? Like, be the best mom that I want to be, and who cares what anybody thinks of me?
Yeah.
Like, trust my instincts, trust my intuition. Like, be the wife and the woman that I want to be. Go after my business, show up, be bold, share what I believe in. But I didn't in the past because I thought, well, people will judge me. People will criticize me. They'll troll me on on YouTube. But it's just silly because what does any of that matter, right? Like, there's fear and then there's love. Like, so if I actually 3 years ago, 5 years ago, sunk more into the love, like, where would I be? Again,
Right.
going to, doesn't matter because it was all meant to be. But here in this moment, like, why do I feed the fear? Why do I allow myself to play so small?
Absolutely. And it what was it on? It was like Kevin Smith, like Silent Bob, that guy. He got into a really good one with Joe Rogan when he was
Mm-hmm.
talking about that. Because like he said his dad died. There's a long story to it, but his dad passed away, and is like he said his dad was like kind of a quiet guy, like um just all around nice guy, but then and he did everything right, like cut his mother-in-law's grass, went to church every Sunday, he was just a nice guy. And uh and then he said when he died, he died screaming. He asked his brother like what happened, like how did it go, and he died screaming.
Mm-hmm.
Like he died yelling, died screaming, and it was like it fucking he said it too. It's like it behooves you to not fucking live life to the fullest and do whatever comes to your fucking
Yeah,
head.
because you can be the best person and
Yeah,
still die
like
screaming.
whatever's in your head. Yeah, don't go kill like 100 people if it's in that's in your head. But like just fucking do whatever you want to do. Just jump into it and do it.
Mm-hmm.
It's crazy, and I it fucking I kind of remember that when my dad passed away. Like I was in the room. There was all of us in the room, and like he took his last breath, and it was just like, fuck, like that's it. Like, fucking guy worked so hard, did all these things, and you fucking that last breath, then that's it. Like, fuck, I don't know, maybe he had like crazy dreams or wanted to do different things, and fuck, man, just gotta do that. But
We didn't even bring Kleenex.
well, that wasn't on the paper.
You're supposed to swear, not cry.
Jesus. Anyway, carry on.
Okay, so that's really good though, because and see, if you cry, you didn't cry long enough, but I learned this, if you cry long enough, it'll turn into a laugh, and if you laugh long enough, it'll turn into a cry. So full circle, right?
Yeah, that's
Everything,
what Dale
yeah, in our
Dale's
breath
telling
work.
us, yeah.
Yeah. So everything always comes full circle. That's kind of the theme of the night, right?
I
Life,
guess.
Experiences, laughing, crying. Okay.
You get it all. It's Wayne's World. You laugh, you'll cry, you'll hurl.
That was real.
Yeah.
Okay. So then people always say, well, okay, that's cool, but how do you overcome fear? Or like, what do you do with fear?
It's always that, and it's like, what do you want to do? I want to help people.
Mm-hmm.
That's where it always goes, right? So.
Yeah, but you got to help yourself before you can help people, right?
Exactly. That's what we
To a certain degree.
even trying to come up with the business plan 5 years ago with Brian Rose about, how we're going to make LaRocque life work, and sitting there with a piece of paper trying to write down notes, and it's like, I just want to help people. I don't know how to do it. I just want to help people.
Yeah.
But I guess it still wasn't ready.
Yeah.
I had to help myself more first, maybe.
Yeah. Yeah, totally, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well, my tips for going into fear or facing your fears is really just like going in. Like, it's the imaginary thing in the room, right? But if you actually like go into it, invite it in, have a conversation with it. Like, what are you here to teach me? What do I need to learn about myself? What am I like? What do I need to overcome? Right? And then really like love that fear. Like, pretend your fear is a person and accept it and love it.
Yeah, talk to it, and
yeah,
isn't that the best? Isn't that the best way to defeat a bully? Even like just show it love. Try to give the bully a hug.
Mm-hmm.
I mean.
Yeah. Well, I think the opposite of fear is love.
Right.
Some people say faith, but I think faith and love are very similar as well.
Yeah, so, that's definitely a fair thing to say.
But just note, that's my belief, so you don't have to criticize me for it. You can just respect me.
There you go. Yeah,
and I'll respect your belief as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, just really, really just going in with the fear. Like, journal on it, ask it questions, feel into it, love it, and ask what there is that you could be learning from it. And I think that really, I know for myself anyways, it really like takes that false like big elephant in the room and just like shrinks it down to nothing. And you're like, okay, so I'm still nervous. I'm excited, nervous, right?
Yep,
but I'm
fair.
not. So don't get me wrong. Like, I don't think fear ever like goes away. But
it's the right kind of fear though too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And
like we've experienced that. I've experienced it lots. Like with boxing, I experienced it lots where it's easy to get in a fight like in the bar or at a party or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
But then when you're in a proper like set up fight, MMA or boxing, like for a couple months in advance, the person's name, you know what they look like, you go through so many things, right? And then even when I post that video about that stand-up comedy stuff, like it's a fear, but it's a healthy fear of like a nervous, and this is gonna be it's gonna be huge, right? It's gonna be fun when on the other side, but you're just nervous, butterflies, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Not fear to completely paralyze you and not go on stage or not do that, right?
Yeah, exactly. It might feel like that in the moment, but
100% it does.
The other side, there's just so much growth, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the more you do it, the easier it gets. But yeah, I think really kind of wrapping this up, there's a few points I'd like to make, but really like you're always going to receive criticism no matter what you do in life, right? Like you're walking down the street, you're being criticized for your hair or the way you walk or your shoes. And then showing up online, you're being criticized. I mean, I could be getting criticized by the way I'm sitting
Yeah.
or
Oh
my
yeah, something,
glasses
right?
or my voice might be annoying. Like
Yeah.
you're never going to be everything to everyone, right? But when you love yourself, and you can accept that about yourself, then you don't really care about the other people's criticism. And then it goes vice versa, right? I don't have the desire to criticize other people the way
Yep.
I used to either, because I'm just like, wow, whatever, we're all doing the best we can, right?
No, exactly.
And I don't even see it.
No.
But I think the biggest thing from that is not allowing criticism and the fear of being criticized or being judged or what people will think about you to hold you back from anything, whether it's getting vocal about what you believe in the world and what's going on in the world, or what your
Yeah.
purpose and what your mission is, or who you are in your relationship, speaking your truth,
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Just
right? Taking risks and willing to fail.
that's the biggest one. Is I've tried so many things in my life. I've been so fortunate in my life to be able to have the opportunities I've had, and you have to create those opportunities yourself as well. You can't just sit around and they'll come
Wait
to
for
you.
them to knock.
But fuck, the amount of times I've failed is ridiculous. You just keep getting knocked down, but as long as you get up, I
Mm-hmm.
mean, it's so cliche and everyone says that, but it's true. Like, there's a reason everyone says that all the
Yeah.
time. It's very true.
Well, and then just circling this back to the beginning of our conversation, like we failed so many times, and in the moment it seems like failures, but if we never would have just tried it, then we might not be sitting here today, right?
Exactly.
So I guess point being is just there's never going to be a right time. There's never going to be the right feeling. Like just go for it
Yeah.
and just speak what's on your mind. So I think having an open mind is really good. Having an open mind, I know for myself anyways, but then learning to discern what is mine to take from it, what resonates with me, and just taking that and knowing that that's okay. I don't have to believe everything you believe.
Yeah.
I can soak up knowledge from different people, and then I can take what feels right for me in my heart and then go out and share that,
Absolutely.
show up as that,
You just have
right?
to know it's a two-way street. You have to do that.
Mm-hmm.
And if you want people to respect or listen or not have conflict with your opinions, you have to do the same for them.
Yeah,
It's
exactly.
definitely a two-way street. And again, it circles back to relationships, to parenthood, to anything, right? Like
Yeah.
you have to show that certain amount of respect or understanding or empathy or anything to get that back to you,
Even to your 3-year-old.
especially to your 3-year-old, no matter how hard I try.
But what was I gonna say on that note? Oh crap, I totally forgot.
That's right.
Um yeah, okay. So it was on taking what resonates with you. Speaking your truth. Yeah, I don't know. I don't remember. It's okay. But let's talk a little bit then about how you open your heart, because I think like we talked about fear. What do you do with fear? Like you invite it in, you be with it, you ask what you can learn from it. But then a lot of people are always like, yeah, okay, so how do you open your heart? But for me, I think opening my heart just means being present, being grateful,
Yep.
doing more of what brings me happiness and what brings me joy.
That's the big one, because there's
Mm-hmm.
nothing shuts you down than
Mm-hmm.
doing well. There's certain mundane tasks you have to do, but if you're just even if you're not doing anything, right? If you're laying on the couch just doing nothing, vegging out, that definitely closes you down. Or myself anyway. I can speak personally.
Yeah, I think it depends on how you're coming at it, right? Like
Yeah.
if you're numbing,
Right.
like right, just but or else you could be resting,
That's true.
right?
Yeah,
So
that's true.
it can go either way, but it's just your intention behind it, right?
Yeah, very true.
I know for me, like getting out of my comfort zone and trying new things, that's heart opening. And failing goes hand in hand with that, right?
It does. Yeah, you know, right, or yeah, you feel alive. You
Mm-hmm.
feel, yeah, you definitely opened up.
But you can shift your perspective on failure as well and not think of it so much as, oh shit, I failed, more as like, cool, how many times can I fail today, or how many times can I fail like this month, this year, right? Because then you're totally looking at it from a different perspective, but you're just looking at it from learning,
That's
right?
true. Yeah.
It's I think it's Sarah Blakely. She created Spanx. She was saying that her dad was one of her biggest inspirations in her life because at their dinner table every night he would ask them how they failed that day, and then
Mm,
they celebrated failure. Um, which I think is really cool because we do grow up like we're taught in school, even, right? Like your grades, if you fail, you suck.
yeah.
If you like fail a test or get bad marks on your test, right? But really, like, we're always learning, we're always failing forward. So I really liked that she said that, and that's something that I would definitely like to kind of carry forward with Lennox in our life
Yeah,
too.
absolutely.
Yeah,
That's a great idea. I like
because
that.
I know I my whole life like wanted to be perfect, right? And kind of avoided failure or avoided being vulnerable for a long time as well because then I seen it as I was a failure.
Right.
But I think like opening up and sharing your feelings and shedding some tears, like there's nothing wrong with that. That's very heart opening,
It's
right?
part of life. You can see it all here.
Yeah, see it live here. Laughing, playing, connecting with people, um, just like really being real, being
Yeah,
authentic,
being
right?
and just yeah, the conversations, especially the last couple of weeks, been phoning a few of my friends and yeah, just having some good conversations
Mm-hmm.
and making sure they're feeling okay and how they're doing, and it's that really opens me up. You get off those phone calls and you feel that connection for one, like um you just have that. That's your community. Like they're your tribe, no matter
Yeah,
how far away or where they're at, and just yeah, it just opens you up. You just
yeah,
feel a lot much better, or I do anyway,
yeah,
for sure.
yeah. No, I would totally agree. And then I think I already said open mindedness, but learning, growing, seeking knowledge, and then taking what resonates with you. We talked about that a little bit, but I think that that's heart opening, asking questions. Like, don't take everything that you hear as truth because then I think we're giving our power away. Just because someone has a higher education or they're the pro, it doesn't matter. You have an infinite consciousness and you're here for a reason and you know something. So seek knowledge,
Yep.
but then take it in, open your heart, and then go out and do what feels right.
Yeah. Nailed it.
Yeah. And then the last things, a couple things that we had written down, but we did touch on this, is really respecting yourself, right? Like
Yeah.
showing your body love, like through movement and eating, drinking water, like really treating yourself like you love yourself and
Absolutely.
respecting yourself, because then therefore you have the ability to respect your partner
Yeah.
because you feel better, right?
That's 100%. Because yeah, even just in the last 3 4 months, I've been on a real journey or change back to what I should have been after my ass got fat, and just I
But
feel
your ass didn't even get fat.
no,
Your belly did.
it went all to my belly and my hips.
Just to your belly and your cheeks.
Yeah, my rosy cheeks. But yeah, now coming off, like now getting that back and coming back, respecting myself a lot more, feeling a lot better,
Yeah.
and then I can really pass it on to you as well.
Yeah.
So yeah, no,
Yeah, like when we respect our body, which is our temple, right? It's like our consciousness here on this human plane. So the better we take care of it, the better we have connection to that consciousness and our truth, and then we can go out and live that.
exactly.
But okay, so that's all I wanted to really talk about this time around. Was there anything else that
No, that's a good episode. I think you
yeah.
got it all.
Yeah. So one thing I just really want to leave on though is because we were having this conversation a little bit earlier in the truck after I had my little bit of a teary moment this afternoon, and I said to Mike, like, there's a lot of feelings going on in the world, and a lot of people don't have someone to process them with,
No, we're so fortunate.
right? Like
Yeah.
the shit we talk about, like we're not even fully transparent yet here. It'll come.
Yeah, it'll come.
Um, but just being able to express our emotions and share what's on our mind and what we're feeling in our body and allowing ourselves to like let that go is huge. But we understand that not everybody has that. So as much as we say like just let go of your fear and tap into your heart and respect other people for your beliefs, we just want you to know that we're here for you too. So if you
Oh
don't
yeah, it's easy. Like like I say, it's great for us because we have that support. But if you're in a tough spot or a tough relationship right now, it's hard to take a lot of those when you're just getting beat on by a bunch of negativity, right? So,
Yeah. And your
um,
own
and
negativity,
your
right?
own,
Like
yeah,
if
and
you
you're
can't,
beating
you
up
don't have
yourself, yeah,
anywhere, an outlet, then a safe space, right,
big
to
time.
just express that, then just know that you can reach out to Mike or I, whichever one you resonate with, and we're here for you. I mean, we can turn it into coaching things down the road, but that's not why I'm expressing this. Like literally, we're going through some freaking weird times,
Absolutely, we are, yeah.
and rightfully so. There's a lot of emotion going on. There's a lot of fear. But I really truly believe that at this time in history, whatever you believe is going on in the world, that the best thing we can do is open our hearts and love ourselves, love our neighbors, love our partners, really tap into that unconditional love. And as cheesy as it sounds, like I would roll my eyes at myself, but like putting that out, like Care Bear style, like, right? Like putting that love and that energy out into the world, to our leaders, to the virus, to whatever you believe is going on out there. Let's feed it love instead of feeding it fear, right? So if you're getting hung up on getting into that love, reach out to us.
Yep, absolutely. That's great. That's a great way to put it. How do they find us?
Yeah, so go to LaRocque Life Facebook. That's our page. You can shoot us a message on there, or you can come to either of our personal pages as well. Laura LaRocque is my personal page. Michael LaRocque is your personal page.
My page? Email. Oh, my page? Yeah, yeah, yeah.
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 I'm just giving social media. Or go to Instagram. We're LaRocque Life on Instagram as well. So I guess really actually to rephrase that, I would say if you want to talk to one of us separately, just go to our personal pages on Facebook, or you can email Michael at larockelife.com,
Yeah.
or you can email me, which is Laura at larockelife.com,
That's neat.
or hit us up on Facebook.
Oh, that sounds great. Okay, well, this is awesome. That was a great night. That was an awesome conversation, Laura. I love you all, and we'll see you next week.
Yeah, lots of love to you. Have a good night, good day.
Hmm?
Bye.